Season's flying by. You know, we've known that the last month or so was going to be action on Tuesday nights, and we had our last Saturday home game, and now our final Saturday game. It just brings home the reality of how quickly the season's going by. Excited to get back out there again. Last Saturday did not go the way that we wanted it to. Got behind 14-0, and we're playing catch up, the rest of the game. And we almost caught up. We turned the ball over twice and don't take it away. It's really tough to win. And so it did not go the way that we wanted.
Dave, you want to open us up with questions?
Yeah, it looks like Bowling Green gives up a lot of running yards. Can you talk about, what you would like to see from your team? Because obviously you have a lot of running backs that can get the job done.
Yeah, well, we're putting the plan together right now and studying them. Honestly, Dave, we want to be balanced. Like last week we weren't, and there's been some games this year where we've been really heavy with the run and lighter with the pass. We want to be able to run and throw it with equal proficiency, and so we're going to go into every game trying to figure out ways to make that happen. And then, the way things plan out, and part of that is what the defense chooses to do. They can take some things away and give some things up, and so we just got to be ready for that and be able to adjust, on game day. But certainly, want to be able to run the ball this week.
Can you talk a little bit about Bowling Green's defense? Because, obviously they gave up a lot against Northern Illinois, but when you beat Minnesota, they're capable.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, this, I got to see pieces of the Minnesota game. And watched the Northern game as well. There was an intensity and an energy that they played with at Minnesota that was just fun to watch. It was like a World Series pitch. Every play there were just you could tell it was a really big deal, and with the energy and the intensity, and they took the ball away. They played really, really well. So that's not all that different from how they played. They play very, very hard. They've got talented players. They know their scheme is sound. And so I don't. Every game is a little bit different, but this is another game where if we're not at our best, we'll get beat. And if we can really prepare well every single day, and then be ready to go for an early kickoff, traveling the day of the game, this Saturday, that'll give us a chance.
I know it's still early in the MAC season, but is this maybe as tough as the MAC has been, bottom to top? Because, it's so wide open, and it hasn't been that way on the bottom, you know what I mean? Whereas this year it seems to be tougher all the way around.
I don't think there is a bottom, and there certainly is not a top yet either. That's really, we've looked at it that way, coming into it, but it's absolutely been after whatever it's been 3 weeks now, substantiated in my opinion. What I said earlier is not coach speak. It is if you don't come to play in all three phases, and it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you better take the ball away, you better take care of the ball, you better be really good on special teams, and you better play for 60 minutes, or you're not going to win. And I honestly believe that is every single matchup, not just in our games. That's whoever playing whoever. That's just how it is in the MAC, and it makes it incredibly exciting. But there are no breather games. There just aren't. And we're not a baseball team. We're not playing whatever it is, 160 some games, and so you can lose 3 or 4 and nobody worries about it. It's football, and there's 12 guaranteed, and so even going into game 8 now, game 7, game 8, game 9, you can't ever go through the motions. You have to take those 6 days and raise your emotional intensity and be ready to go on game day. And that's the challenge, and it's something that we absolutely plan on doing.
Thanks.
Yep.
Matt?
Hey, Coach, I remember talking to you a few years back where you said, the bar is no longer, just being competitive with teams. It's about beating teams. So Ball State, really good offense. Obviously, you guys are in those games. We know the numbers in the Mid-American Conference and how close they've been with you. With that said, mindset-wise and preparation-wise for your team, how do you turn a page after the disappointment, knowing that the goal is much higher than what we showed on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and we had a really good meeting yesterday. We had really good film sessions. There was obvious disappointment, but we're taking all of that. As of yesterday afternoon, and refocusing into this next week, and that would have had to happen either way. So I understand your question, and some weeks are harder than others. I'm just telling you, we did not feel good about how that went. It was not the last game of the year. And this league and every season is going to go down to the last game. It just is. And so it is way too early to be excited, and it is way too early to be disappointed for more than 24 hours. So it's going to be an absolute, war this Saturday, and it's going to take our full and undivided attention to give us a chance, and we'll be there. We just, to be honest with you, last week, for whatever reason, we certainly did not exert our will. It's hard to say that we always play hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Our guys play really hard always. However, we did not. Our determination, did not take over that game in any way, shape, or form. I think that's just another thing that we have that we have to put into practice. And we weren't able to do that. We just the energy / intensity / will, just was not apparent like I know that it's burning inside of guys.
I'm interested when you look at the film, especially from an offensive standpoint. What were you seeing with like maybe Hassan Badun? It looked at times that teams were the Ball State was roughly 8 yards off him in the slot, and how much leeway do you give to Ben to change a play or to make sure that he's going to a guy who is when they're showing that type of cushion, if you will, to give him a little bit more looks?
Yeah, so Ben is, however many games into playing, college football, right? So we played 7. And so he's had 5 starts. And he's a quick learner. He's really good and is going to continue to get better. This last game was, for him specifically, was really a growth game, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things that he did and some things that he didn't do, that were really good, growing up and learning, getting better situations and scenarios. But yeah, to answer your question, our quarterback is a part of our play calling, if you will. In our system, we want to be in good plays. We want to attack weaknesses, and the quarterback has the pen last. And so, the better we are at preparing him and knowing what to look for and what to see, the better off we'll be.
Kind of bouncing off what Dave was asking you regarding Bowling Green, have you noticed why they are so contrastly different in success from this year to last? And if so, what it would be? Yeah,
we didn't play him last year, and so we didn't study him. I think their quarterback is playing much better. I think that's the first thing that pops off. He was the Boston College player with Coach and had to sit out a year, and then played. I think he played in all 5 of the games last year. Again, we didn't study them. We saw them in some of the crossover games when you're studying opponents that you're going to play. But I think that he's, that's the first thing that pops off to me, is that he's playing better than he did, last year. So, again, without having studied him last year, I can't give you a great answer on that.
Lastly, for me, can you give us, and I apologize if you've already done this and it's repetitive, but have you got an update on Alex Howie and how that impacts? Look, you've lost 2, I guess it'd be too deep, but you lose the starter at that position. Now you lose the backup for a period of time. What do you do there, and how do you feel the backup, the depth helped you or hurt you at all?
Yeah, I get a really brief injury report, on Sundays, and he was a part of that. And then it's much more in depth this afternoon, and he's a tough kid. Now I'll start with that, and it could have been worse than it is. But he still is going to have to work to get back. So I'll know more today, but it didn't seem like he'd be able to be playing this week.
And how do you think Richard did in his stead?
Oh, real good. Yeah. No, real good. He's, Bates has some snaps underneath his belt for sure. He's a guy who's just chomping at the bit, and and he probably plays in games better than he practices. And we like to be great practice players and game day players, but he's really come through. So we're not concerned at all.
That's an area in which your program under you has really grown, the depth. Okay, it's one thing having starters, but football, we all know the physicality that it provides and how it takes its toll. Having depth that you've been able to build, how vital has that been for your team moving in your tenure there, do you think?
Well, everybody, wants depth and tries to develop it. I think that's the key about our deal is that, we've been able to retain our players in our program. They want to be here, and we develop people. We take great pride in that. And so, sometimes guys are asked to play sooner than they might be actually, ready. But everybody's in this ongoing process of getting better. So their whole career about how we can, take advantage of constantly developing our guys. And really the COVID year, with all the negativity that surrounds it, it was an unbelievable opportunity for us to develop guys. And so that is, helped serve us well here now as we are in 21.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck, Seth.
Yep, thank you.
2 student athletes with you today, one of which you were able to give the deuce to this year, Bryson Cannon. Talk about that moment that you and Thomas Okoye were able to help surprise him on the field when you gave him the 2.
Yeah, well, there's so many, neat storylines that go with this, I think, so the one that I would start with is the fact that, the Reed family was here. And they have been, they've participated in this every year. They've been so gracious. And, just can't say how much I respect and thankful, for them and to them for letting us try to continue to honor and remember their son. It's a big deal in our program. And so they were here, and, Thomas was the first to have it, with a year remaining. He had it last year, and, all things were sort of pointing towards him just continuing to be the deuce. And a long story, even shorter, at one point I even just went up to Thomas and I said, hey, what do you think about, Bryson wearing the deuce? Because Bryson, I don't know exactly when it started, but, at some point as a senior, but, in and after spring ball, he has been a senior just like you want every guy to be a senior. He has just like blossomed in every area. I don't know if that's the right word, but he is like going after and reaching his potential. He is on and off the field, he's an awesome human being, great leader in our program. He's a really talented football player, and a guy that I think defenses are curious about. How does this guy? How do we defend him? Because he'll hit you in the mouth and put his hands on you and move you, and at the same time, he's got wiggle and shake, and he's got the best hands on the team. So he's wearing it proudly, and super proud of the year that he's having so far.
And then your other student athlete, the guy that you've been able to put in a starting spot almost since the day he was on campus. You had him as a freshman as a tight end, and you moved him back to offensive line. But Brian Dooley he's done everything you could ask for him to.
Yeah, Brian Dooley is becoming like, a rock in our program. Old number 48, you had that big catch against Purdue. Seems like a long time ago. But yeah, as our starting tackle, we think he's as good as anybody. He's got great length and has really gotten stronger. But that's what people will see on film, and you can look up height and weight and all of that. But I don't know if there's anybody who's more committed, and that captures everything, right? It's everything. He loves football. He is so committed to his team and to this program and to the development, the process of developing, to leading the younger guys and bringing them in and helping in the recruiting process. And, is just a great player on the field. So, I just think of him as a rock in our program.
Guys, who would like to go first?
Age before beauty? How you guys going to do this?
Turn it over to you.
All right, Bryson, you heard Coach talk a little bit about your contributions to the program and having the honor of wearing the deuce this year. Similar question to Coach. You heard his perspective on what that was like, earning that honor. What's it been like for you to be the one to earn the opportunity to wear the deuce this year?
Oh yeah, man, it's been a real honor. I was actually shocked that I got the deuce this year, knowing that Thomas Odukoye had it last year. So going into this year, I was thinking that Thomas Odukoye was going to wear the deuce, and just to hear the news that I get to wear the deuce and honor his legacy, that was just an unbelievable feeling. And hopefully this year, the rest of this year, can go as planned, and I can honor his legacy the way it needs to be honored.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Bryson, really nice game and really enjoyed watching you play. Coach gave you a really nice compliment. First of all, I'm wearing the number 2, and then, of course, the season that you're having. What do you consider your greatest strength?
My greatest strength is I'm very versatile. I feel like I can go in a run game and I can block a little bit, and then I can go in the pass game and I can stretch the field and catch balls in the open field. So I feel like that's my strength.
Coach says that you have the best hands on the team. How have you developed that? Is that because you used to be a wide receiver? How do you consider that characteristic and strengthening that characteristic over your college career?
So I feel like I've had the best hands on the team everywhere I've been, ever since I was little. So I feel like my brother had hands. I feel like it's kind of like a genetic thing. So I kind of just naturally had it. I had to work on it too. But ever since high school, I had the best hands on the team. At my junior college at Independence, I had the best hands on the team. And then I came here and I had to show I had the best hands on the team. So I just feel like everywhere I go, I just feel like I got the best hands on the team. It's just having confidence.
What do you like most about the offense and how it suits you?
I feel like as an offense, we can be very versatile. So we can go in 11 personnel with Haas Benoon in the slot. and then we're going 12 personnel and have 2 big tight ends in there with me and Thomas Odukoya. So, and I feel like we got a good run game with Jawan Hamilton back there, Darius Boone, and Samson Evans. And we can also pass it with Ben Bryant at quarterback, and then we got Dylan Drummond, Haas, and Zach Westmoreland on the outside. So I feel like we're very versatile.
I think your tight end position might be the stretch. Since been calling this team for 20 years, this might be the deepest tight end position group I've seen in 20 years. What do you like about your tight end room?
Oh yeah, we got some guys that can play. I feel like our depth. I feel like if anybody can go anywhere and start in the country right now. So you got me and Thomas Odukoya with the 12 personnel. And then you got Gunnar Oaks, who can come in. He came in last game and had a drive, and he just fit in very well. He played very good last game. Then we got some young guys in the room. Jerry Getzinger, he's a force on the field, man. Special teams, he's knocking guys out, man. He's getting the hammer every week. So I feel like he's an up-and-coming guy that can be very good in the future.
What do you love most about the tight end position? Because it's a challenging position, right? I mean, you got to be able to block, you got to be able to catch. There's a lot of different things that I don't think people truly understand about the position. What have you embraced most about the position, tight end?
Yeah, that position is kind of like an underdog position. Most people don't really take in that position like the glory guy on the field, but you're doing all the dirty work. You might have to run a clear out route just to get somebody else open. You might have to block just to get the running back a touchdown. So I just feel like I take in the process of that position being a dirty work position, and that's what I like most about the position.
Lastly, I know you've had the chance to maybe look at a little bit of film of Bowling Green and the attitude of your team. First and foremost, how you guys have to attack the Falcons to be successful Saturday, and what's the mood in your locker room after a tough loss against Ball State?
The mood in our locker room, we got to bounce back. We can't let one loss turn into 2. So I feel like in the locker room, we know we got to get this win. It's like Coach Creighton said, every week is going to be a war, and we're going to be ready for the war against the Falcons of Bowling Green at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
Enjoy watching you play. Keep continued success. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Bryson. Step right up. Brian, this is a game for you that is interesting because it's Bowling Green area is home for you, and I know that you grew up watching those teams in Toledo play, and now obviously playing up here with us. What's it going to mean to go back home to a place where, quite frankly, you didn't end up playing, now playing against them, and get the chance to do that in front of some family and friends?
It means a lot. Like you said, I wasn't really recruited at both those places. So, Coach Creighton, gives me a chance to come play here, and I really like it. They, they got a good team, but I think we can go down there and get them.
Matt, all you.
Hey, Brian, can that be challenging emotionally where you got to almost not amp yourself up too much when you go back to a place where you're trying to prove something to folks?
Yeah. My thing is, if guys didn't want to recruit me or nothing, I just think it's a positivity to me because I know that Coach Creighton saw something to me. So I just use my strength and just go out there to show them what they kind of missed.
Coach Creighton called you the rock of the program. What's that mean to you?
I think it's an honor that he thinks of me like that. I'm still a young guy. I'm only a redshirt sophomore. But like you said, I've been getting on the field since I first got here. I had a lot of great leaders, like Jimmy and Hickey and some of the other older guys that really brought me along. So I like how they taught me. So I want to teach younger guys to to do it the right way. So I think that being called the Rock is a pretty great thing.
So how do you lead differently now than maybe you did? Well, you probably didn't lead it when you were earlier in your collegiate career, but you did in high school. Otherwise, you don't play at this level. How are you a different leader now?
So back in high school, I was I wanted to try to bring the younger guys along more. So like Coach Creighton said, when I was taught as a kid, you always want to bring people with you, and so like that's what I want to do now. I always get the younger guys in, like watch film. When one of the younger guys messes up, I don't like to yell and scream at them. I take them and be like, hey, like next rep. The younger guys really do help the team the most because they're going to be the new face of the team soon. So you always got to help them out.
Yeah. It seems to me every time I talk to an offensive lineman, their favorite thing to do is run block. Assuming that is the same for you, how do you guys get better at that, knowing that your numbers aren't necessarily where you'd like them to be?
We just come out and practice every day. Our defensive scouts really help us out, and we every single day we come out and do a towel drill, and that towel drill is moving one guy to the next, and we just keep doing it every day. And I think we can really run the ball on them this weekend.
Thanks, Brian. Stay healthy. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, man.